fascinating, Yuchen. And so what would you say? Obviously, you're a Chinese person learning English. We all
Yeah.
know, and as someone, I've tried to learn Chinese myself, and they're two very, very different languages, of course. What I
Yeah.
mean, what are the biggest challenges for a Chinese person when they're trying to learn English?
Well, that's a very good question. I think from my personal perspective, not being aware of the structural differences between Chinese and English might be one of many challenges facing a Chinese person learning English. You see, Chinese is a language that is made of brushes and strokes, while English is mainly letter-based. Secondly, English is highly dependent on the grammatical, lexical, and sentential connections in text to convey meanings. In other words, you need those words and vocabularies connected together to express what you say, while Chinese relies on context to communicate meanings. So this probably means you think differently when you are using both languages. So I think having a bit of scholarly understanding of both languages is key to overcome the challenge in learning English in this respect. In addition to this, English, I think, is a melodical language. There are many catchy expressions and sentences that have some dimensions of music. Being able to add the melodical aspect to your daily language use may increase the flow, naturalizing your speaking. So what I'm saying here is to use those catchy phrases and sentences in your speaking that might make your sound more natural.
Okay, okay.
Mm.
And what about sort of specifically about speaking? How because we know at the Chartered Institute of Linguists, we see people very
Yeah,
often have jagged profiles. They may be
yeah,
very strong in reading and writing, for example, and their
yeah.
spoken language is not so good. What why is speaking different, and why is it also important as a skill?
Certainly. I think English speaking skills are important because they allow speakers to communicate with other people at ease. Normally, you don't expect others to write a thesis or essay when they're talking to you, and that's particularly the case for informal occasions. To be able to speak fluently and concisely may help other people understand your ideas better. Speaking is different from reading, writing for two reasons. What you say comes and goes in an instant. It's quite dynamic, if you will. When you miss what someone else has just said, you need to ask them to repeat the information. Secondly, you verbalize your languages when you're speaking. In other words, use a lot of verbs and chunks.